Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Necromaniacs Horror Podcast. How's it going, Jeff?
It's going good. How about you?
Doing well, doing well. I'm happy that we're in March, and it seems like spring is around the corner, which is always nice in this part of the country.
Yes, we had that nice little tease last week where it hit almost 70. And the next day I was in a hoodie and a pea coat.
Yeah,
So that's New England for you. Something else I forgot about New England this time of year. Just when you think you're out of it, no, you're not.
yeah, exactly, man. Have you been checking anything interesting out lately?
You know, God, tonight's the Oscars. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. I don't, follow that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, really.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I usually try to catch up on best picture nominations if I haven't seen them, but I did not do any of that. Instead I watched the Ben Affleck crime movie, The Town.
That's a good one, man. I like that movie.
It's really good. I have the extended director's cut too, which I think is the superior version of the film. And it hit me. I was like, God, we could probably do a whole sub series of Boston crime movies. There's so many of them.
Oh yeah, totally, dude. Yeah. That's like there's a whole yeah, exactly, man. Like there's ton Boston's a crime town. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think The Town might be the most Boston movie ever made.
Well, yeah, that's I like when when you see Ben Affleck embracing his Boston townie,
Yeah,
background.
yeah, absolutely. I think every shot in that movie has like a Patriots jacket, a Bruins t-shirt, Red Sox hat, something. It's very, very Boston.
Yeah.
Uh, Great movie though. I really, really liked it. I think I'm going to try to check out Gone Baby Gone again. I haven't seen that in quite a while. That is, of course, Ben Affleck's directorial debut. Quite a good director, I think.
Yeah, he's there's like something deeply unlikable about him, but like I definitely think he's a good actor and he's a talented director for sure.
Yeah, I think he gets a bad rap as an actor, for sure. Remember the outrage when he was announced as the new Batman, and I thought that was a great choice. I thought he was a really good Batman.
Yeah, he did a good job in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, considering the movies weren't that good, I think he was physically he embodied the role of Batman.
Yeah, he can actually get pretty jacked, actually.
Yeah, he's massive and Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, he probably put him on some steroids or something like that,
Yeah,
jack him up a little
probably.
bit. Yeah.
He's probably fucking breaking down on set, crying. um, but other than that, I'm knee deep in this vinyl collecting, man. Right, this is like my new thing. It's consumed all of my spare time, just looking for records, going to record stores. I got a couple of things that I really wanted this week. I got two Dr. Dre records, The Chronic and The Chronic 2.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Classics in my opinion, two of
Yeah.
the best hip hop records of all time. I'm a massive Dr. Dre fan of his production, all of that. Picked up the new Godflesh. Well, it's not new anymore, but it
Wow.
is. What's that?
You got that on vinyl?
Yes, yeah, I think it came out a couple of years ago. Purge.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a good one. I don't have it
it
on
is
vinyl, but it's good.
the second coming of Godflesh has been very good. I think this reunited era has been good to them. I think they produced some of their best work.
My take on that is it almost combines like the old Godflesh sound with like some of the stuff that he was doing with Yezu, I think.
Yeah, and the album Post Self particularly really stands out to me as like a major achievement for that band. Like they really were pushing new boundaries after, existing for like 30 years. It's cool to see bands that have been around a long time doing something new. The Purge record's a little bit more of a throwback to their, pure era sound, but still really, really good. And picked up a Kraftwerk record too. Been really
Oh,
into Kraftwerk lately.
Which record do you get by them?
Man of Machine.
That's a classic one,
Yeah,
definitely.
exactly. Yeah. Got to see them at a festival we ISIS played in 2004. Um, usually seeing guys up there with laptops is pretty boring, but somehow they made it exciting and fun.
Yeah, the only I saw White House like back in like
Oh,
I don't know, like 2004
really?
or 5 or something like that. And that literally was two guys with a laptop. And
Yeah.
but it was hard, man. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah, White House is God, I don't even know how I would describe that to someone who doesn't know.
I mean, they're they fit into that throbbing gristle like noise
Yeah.
sort of world, but they're definitely like their own sort of style, if you ask me, of just like misanthropic, like negative,
Yeah.
harsh like stuff.
I got to see one of the guys from White House as Cut Hands opening for Godflesh,
Oh
actually.
wow, okay.
Again, yeah, it was just a guy on a laptop.
Oh
Um,
wait, I saw Cut Hands too. I didn't realize it was that dude.
yeah, that's the guy from White House.
Yeah, they were on the same tour probably.
Yes, it was, or at least on the West Coast, it was Aaron Turner's project, House of Low Culture, Cut Hands, and Godflesh.
Mm.
Quite a good bill.
Yeah.
But that's really about it. I hadn't been watching many movies at all lately. I don't know. It's um I go through these sort of periods where I'm not watching much, and then in a couple months I'll watch like two movies a day. So,
Yeah, no, totally.
what about you?
I watched a movie yesterday starring Peter Dinklage, and it's not a horror film.
Hmm.
It's it's a movie called The Station Agent.
Is
Yeah.
that fairly recent?
No. It's
No,
like his breakout film. It came out in like 2003. My wife brought up the idea of watching this yesterday, and I was
really.
like, I'm like, oh, cool. So yeah, it's got Peter Dinklage, Patricia Clarkson's in it, who I haven't heard her doing anything in a really long time, but that was sort of around the time she was doing 6 Feet Under, that kind of stuff. She was in the Fessenden film that we did right around that time.
That's right.
Wendigo, rather.
Yes.
Um, Bobby Cannavale, who I always love seeing in movies, he was in it.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, he's excellent. He's just, he's a great. I love that dude. And Michelle Williams is in it too.
I remember that name, but I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, it was like very much of its time in some ways. You know how like that whole mumblecore thing was kind of getting big around in that early part of the century.
Yes.
Where it's like it's a movie that's just characters, nothing really happens, nothing gets resolved, there's no real conflict or anything like that. It's just like these kind of like slice of life, this is these people doing stuff together and there's very
Yeah.
vibey, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a couple great films in that genre, I think.
I actually like when horror has vibes like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like and actually the Addams family started out doing these types of films before they got into doing horror films.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah. I haven't seen any of their early work. The first exposure I had to them was doing this podcast. We did an episode on The Deeper You Dig, I think it was.
Yeah. If you guys have seen their films, which I hope you have, if you've seen their horror films, like their earlier work is good too. And and their approach to filmmaking definitely lends itself to making those types of movies where it's just like,
Oh, totally.
here's like the setting, just kind of go with here's probably some sketches of dialogue and just kind of go with it.
Yeah. It took me a minute to get on their wavelength, the Addams family, but when it clicked, it clicked.
Mm. You got to check out Mother of Flies.
Is that their new one?
Yeah, the one that came out. I saw it. I had them on not Necromaniacs. I had them on Everything Went Black last year around the time of the release of the record. Yeah, um, the movie. Um, so I got a chance to check out a screener. We didn't cover it yet, but it's definitely worth checking out. It's out there now. I think it's on like Shutter, maybe has it.
Yeah, it seems like Shudder carries most of their stuff. At one point or another, it will or has.
Every film is like a huge step forward with them too, man. And like, man, every time I hear that they're making a new movie, I'm always excited because I know that it's going to be like a huge step forward. And this one was definitely a step forward.
I really liked the second one we covered about the band Hellbender.
Hellbender, yeah. Yep.
That was great. The one after that, where they're like a traveling sort of carnival family, that one was really good too.
Yeah. I still like The Deeper You Dig. I don't know, something about that movie just like really like resonates with me. You know, it's like with the guy like living alone in this like skeleton of like a house trying to make something out of it, and like I don't know, just that whole atmosphere was like really good. I really enjoyed that part of it.
I remember you and I specifically talking about him eating ribs at a bar. That
Yeah.
scene, yeah, and how much we liked that.
Yeah, and it's just like that's their vibe, man. It's just like they're shot really well, and there's always like these below the surface things, like the fact that the character was wearing a wedding ring and he wasn't, obviously there's a story there, but they never touch on it. But it's like it adds to the complexity of the character, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Little touches like that go a long way in making something just a little bit better.
Yeah, like and that character, definitely like not the good guy, but also there's like like a layer to that character too, that it's all just inferred. It's not, it's like suggested. It's not explicitly, like described to you in any narratives kind of way, but it's all just like atmosphere.
Right. I need to watch that again. If I remember, I was a little harsh on it in my review. But like I said, I wasn't quite on their wavelength yet. It took me a few films to like, oh, they're going for something more like this.
Yeah, and even Zelda's performance in that too. I mean, she's so young when she made that film, but she was great, as an actress. She did a great job in that.
Yeah, and she seems to be becoming more involved in the filmmaking process as it goes along.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. They're really cool people, and I just really look for the best things for them, really.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. They found their niche and they're just growing within that.
Yeah.
I like they won't be doing a Marvel movie anytime soon,
No, no.
you know.
Thank goodness,
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. Well, yeah, so I saw that film. I really want to go see The Undertone. I was planning to possibly see it this weekend, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not.
Yeah, it's not playing anywhere near me. That just popped up on my radar and it's like, oh, this is great. This sounds interesting. I really got to see this. And unfortunately, I'm gonna have to wait till it's streaming.
Yeah, I don't know where it's playing, but I want to make sure I see it in a place. If I'm going to see it in the theater, I want to see it with a good sound system because apparently that's like a big portion of the film is the sound.
Yeah, and depending on the theater you go to, man, that can be pretty hit or miss.
Yeah. And like I don't want to go there with some, high school kids who are like, "Oh shit, look
Yeah,
out," like that. I don't want to deal with that when I go see this movie.
I think too, like that generation's interest in going to the theater has waned significantly.
Well, I remember I was telling you that movie Iron Lung, which was awful. I thought
Yeah.
I went to a matinee, and that movie had a bunch of young people at it, and I think it has to do with the fact that maybe I think the filmmaker's involved in like video games or something stupid like that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, I didn't see that. I don't think I
Nah,
will.
dude, don't. It was a waste. It was long and it went nowhere.
That's right. I remember that got good reviews too, if
Yeah,
I
fuck it.
remember.
No, they don't know what the fuck. They got someone slipped them in an envelope, if you ask me, to give it good. The guy did because I think he's like a multimillionaire or something. The dude that made that movie.
Oh yeah.
Like it did not deliver on any of the things it promised, to me at least.
Oh
It
man.
was supposed to be, people are like, oh, it's like The Temple by H.P. Lovecraft, and I'm like, no, it's not at all like that. And it's like, yeah, oh, it's a sea of blood, and I'm like, cool, but I don't know, dude. The setting, it's like, there's the stars or there's no stars, there's blackness around and the abyss and everything. I'm like, yeah, this sounds all things I like, but
Yeah.
like it didn't deliver on any of that.
What a shame.
And it's all dialogue, and it's like, which I like, it
Yes,
could,
you're
I'll say, man, we've said it before when we did Dark Harvest. Uh,
mm,
I think cosmic horror works in this kind of low budget mostly like dialogue driven sort of format.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, and that this was purportedly a cosmic horror film, and it did not work. So anyway,
If it's dialogue driven, you really gotta, I mean, you gotta have great writing.
Mm,
And a lot of times the movies fail completely in that
yeah,
regard.
I'm sure people disagree with me on this, but that's just the way. That's my opinion alone.
Yeah,
So there you
fuck them.
go. So yeah, I saw that film. I've been doing a lot of reading. I'm really looking for. Well, I'm reading, finishing up The Blade itself. Which is like a grimdark fantasy, part one of a trilogy called the First Law trilogy. Uh, but I should finish that right around the time the new Adam Neville
Mm,
novel arrives at my doorstep called Monumental. So that's when I'm looking forward to jumping into that one too.
nice. You're quite the big fan of Adam Neville.
I think I've read all of his stuff at this point.
And there's been a film adaptation of at least one of his books, The Ritual.
The Ritual, there's been a couple of others that sort of flew under the radar. Um, that I forgot the name of one of them. It was a Netflix film. But yeah, yeah, I mean the coolest thing too is he publishes his own books at this stage. He has his own publishing company.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Raven Banner, I think is what it's called, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's he puts out these beautiful like hardcovers. I got the soft cover version, but like
Yeah.
I ordered that at least. But yeah, it's support that guy. And if you haven't read any of his, if you're listening to this podcast, specifically this podcast, and you haven't read anything by Adam Neville, do yourself a favor and check it out. And I would start with The Reddening. That's like my favorite of his so far.
Mm. Well, real quick, did you like The Ritual film?
I like the novel better, but I thought the movie was definitely worked for sure.
Mm. Yeah, it was missing something for me. I've seen
Well,
it a couple times now.
in the novel, there's like a whole half of the film that's half of the story that's not even told in the film.
All
So
right. Oh, we did review that one, if I remember,
yeah,
in the early days. Like good, but could have been great.
yeah, I really liked it. I just like like the whole atmosphere of it. I thought was cool.
Hmm.
I mean, I liked it.
I think if I remember correctly, it was missing a lot of atmosphere for me. Um, I can't remember. I'm sure I'll come across it and watch it again.
Yeah. Um. So that's that's the stuff I've been doing. Just other than that, just like I've just been like super busy, just with my job and like looking for a house and
Yeah, you got a lot going on in that regard.
yeah, getting ready for those dates coming up,
That's
practice,
right. Yeah, that's coming up. Is that
like
next week or the week
the
after?
week after next. Well, as
Yes.
people listen to this, it's probably happened already, but like, uh, yeah, we're trying to bank up a bunch of episodes because I'm going to be gone for a little bit, so not long, but
Yeah.
I don't want to come back and have all this pressure on me. So
I think this will be the first time I've seen Tomb since the last ISIS tour on the West Coast.
that's a long time ago, man.
Yeah, 16 years.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely. You need to update on what we've been doing. So
Yeah, I'm excited. You'll be the two of the three Necromaniacs will be in the same room.
yeah, fun
A
time.
rare occasion.
Yeah, that's right. Um, so it's been watching Game of Thrones. Like that's like by the time I'm done with the evening, that's like all I really have energy for is like just some watching some Game of Thrones episodes.
Still have never seen a single episode of that show.
I don't see you enjoying it, honestly.
Hmm,
I
really?
mean, yeah, it's like it's really well done, but as far as I know, you're not really into that kind of stuff.
Not really. Although, like, I know a lot of people who aren't into it, that kind of thing at all, and love that show. Like our mutual friend Peter Ferris.
Yeah.
Um, no interest in sword sorcery kind of stuff, but he's like swears up and down that that's a great show.
I mean, it is. It's really well written, excellent production value. Acting is great. Um, the characters are all very complex. Uh, most of the characters have this character arc, which you can follow throughout the show. Which there's growth. There's like all that stuff. It's good. It's just like well written,
Mm.
nice show, really.
HBO. is sort of known for putting out quality like stuff. I don't know of a lot of things that have been on HBO that would be considered like just terrible or unwatchable. I mean, I'm sure there are, but I just don't know of any.
Mm.
How's that prequel show?
House of the Dragon.
Yeah, you guys have been talking about that.
I like that. That the new season kicks off in June, so that's why Tina and I are going hard with our Game of Thrones worlds. You know,
Nice.
she's a massive fan. Like she knows all the names of everything and the histories of all the different things and which dragon was here and that and this guy's like the grandfather of this person and
So she read the books.
no, neither one of us
No.
have read the books,
Oh wow.
which
That
is
seems right up your alley.
you know what, dude? But it's like I agree with you, but everyone was talking about it so much that I was like, this is probably not that good.
Yeah.
And I just in my this is the thing. It's like I'm one of when it comes to that stuff, I'm one of those people who only listens to music from the 80s. That's like, oh, everything sucks ever since like Black Flag broke up or something like that.
Right.
So for me, I was like, oh, I only like, Michael Moorcock and Robert E. Howard and like I never gave anything a chance after after like the 70s when it came to like that stuff. But dude, there's so much great stuff and that's mostly through Carl Hikara's urgings. I've gotten into so much stuff that I really, really like right now. Like like the George R. R. Martin stuff, which I'm just starting to get into that, and and the Joe Abercrombie, which Selden told me about, all this like fantasy stuff that I never really would have gotten into had I not been, become friends with those guys, so it's cool.
I mean, we're older guys,
Yeah.
you and I, and it's very easy to be at our age and be stuck in your ways. This is what I like. Anything outside of that bubble is shit. I know a lot of people who think like that, but it's such a narrow view of things, and you're missing out on so much good stuff.
Yeah, the only thing I got like that with is fantasy though. Like because music, I'm always down for new music. Films, always down for new films. Horror writing, I love new writers, all that stuff. But for whatever reason, I had it in my mind that, you know, Carl Edward Wagner, Robert E. Howard, Michael Moorcock, Tolkien have said it all about fantasy, like
Right.
sword and sorcery and dark fantasy. But I was completely wrong. And there's no reason to think that because look at even within music, like how it's like saying like I'm only going to listen to Venom and Bathory, and there's no other black metal bands I like. You know what I mean?
Those people exist.
Yeah, that's what they do, and they're fucking idiots if you ask me.
Mm. Mm. I mean, I kind of feel like I am that way with music somewhat. I try to keep an open mind, but I don't know of many bands in their 20s that I can point to and say this is really good. Especially hip hop. A lot of people I work with, some of the younger people are really into it and they play it for me, and I hate all of it. And I don't know if that's just me being narrow minded or if it's truly bad.
Yeah, I think that I'm not maybe not so much age wise, but just like new bands, because I do think that through your 20s, like you have like with exceptions, obviously, you have like you're just finding your voice really musically
Sure.
during that
Yeah.
that period. So, there might be bands that are brand new that are derivative that, are good, but their second band is the band that rules. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And I like I like if it's good, I'm into it, man. Even if it is something that's a little bit, derivative or whatever.
Oh,
If
sure.
it's quality, I'm down, and like, but I'm always interested to see if a band like that catches my interest. If I'm like, oh, these guys are cool, man. Like I could see where they're coming from with their music, and it's like, and then they break up, or like one dude starts another band, and that band is the one that I'm in love with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I think the last new band I got excited about was maybe Interpol in like 2002. I'm
Dude,
trying to think.
they're like a legacy band now.
I know, like you were saying, like, like they had that like tag as being Joy Division clones, and that's how I got into them. They just started saying, well, this band just rips off, this band, that band, and think, well, I love all those bands, therefore I'll probably like this, and they did.
I kind of resisted liking them. I remember like when back in my former band, I was on tour and I met this girl out on the West Coast, and she mailed me a cassette of the first Interpol record,
Mm.
and she's like, "Oh, I bet you like these guys. They sound like Joy Division." I'm like, no, this is all right. It's okay. It's all right. I like the first song, maybe the fifth song. The rest, I don't, like I had that kind of attitude about it.
Sure, yeah. I,
But
I I just don't think that music was widely accepted in our little scene at that point. You know what I mean? Like there was a lot of like, oh, those guys dress up on stage, fuck them. You know what I mean? Things like that have nothing to do with the actual music.
what I do remember though from that era was a lot of bands in hardcore music wearing Joy Division shirts, but sounding like Youth of Today or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that too. There was like a resurgence of like that kind of music with like hardcore kids.
But
Like,
like they still sounded like Minor Threat though, you know what I mean? They didn't sound different. Like they just discovered the t-shirt somewhere.
yeah, well, like in the 90s, that band was the Smiths. Every hardcore band, like, there'd be like two or three guys that loved the Smiths, yet they sounded like, Mouthpiece or something.
Yeah, and it's like they started like wearing t-shirts like that, but their music was the same stuff.
Yeah. And before that, it was Slayer. I used to go to hardcore shows all the time, and there would be one dude in the band rocking a Slayer shirt with like, Gap shorts and like a crew cut.
Yeah. Well, Slayer though actually had a huge impact on hardcore music though.
Oh, sure, of
Yeah, I
course.
mean like, like fucking Integrity sounds like Slayer, and like, that like, there's so many bands that totally have like, you know, completely borrowed from Slayer in the hardcore scene.
Well, I mean, hardcore is sort of an offshoot of metal in a way. Um, it's the same, crunchy, kind of fast. It's just metal filtered through a different lens.
Well, metallic hardcore for sure,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
then
yeah,
there's like the stuff in the 80s that was like, like Circle Jerks and, that was like fast, like punk music, which I kind of prefer that a little bit, man. I think the OG, see, that's where I am. Like, I'm that guy now, like
yeah.
with hardcore. Like, I only like stuff from the 80s really because, or early 90s. Like, I totally like tapped out after that.
You weren't like a Revelation
No,
Records kind of
never,
guy. See,
never.
that was my era of hardcore.
Yeah.
Like when I got into it, and I never really liked that Youth Crew stuff.
No. I mean,
Youth
I
of
don't like
Today,
I don't like
yeah,
that stuff at all. I like, like Black Flag, Minor Threat, Circle Jerks, Suicidal, early Suicidal. Then the later stuff I got into is like Poison Idea are the fucking kings of just negative hardcore music, really.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that shit, man. Like I love like, some British stuff like Discharge, is sick. Like Japanese hardcore, like Death Side and that kind of thing, like Gizm. Those bands are cool, but I like American stuff. I just don't, I never got it, man. Like I never was like into New York hardcore. I like the Chromax,
Yeah.
but that's it really. Maybe some of the AF stuff I like I acknowledge that Madball is a good band. Sick of It All are great. Sick of It All are bigger than hardcore, in some ways.
Well, I mean, they kind of helped define
Yeah,
that New York hardcore,
but
like
they
what it
also
was.
transcend it too in a lot of ways. You know what I mean?
They appealed to a lot of people. Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot of
like
different people.
yeah. I mean, everyone loves Sick of It All, so I got to
Yeah,
give them respect for sure. You know what I mean?
absolutely. I liked Sick of It All. And my introduction into underground punk was like the East Bay scene, Lookout Records,
Yeah.
Green Day, Jawbreaker, Econochrist, Neurosis, bands like that.
When I guess when it got too like jock oriented is when I got real down on that end of things.
Yeah, yeah, God, like growing up in Connecticut too, like that whole like gangster hardcore thing was very, very big here.
And this is going to sound weird, but it's like I feel like when women got alienated from hardcore is when I sort of like was like there's something wrong with this scene because it's like when I was a kid, like I knew a lot of really cool girls that got me into cool music, like punk music and like some of the earlier hardcore music like Minor Threat, things like that, but then like it just got to be this like sausage fest, and
Oh God, 100%,
I was
man.
like, there's no ladies here, so I'm out, like it just wasn't my kind of thing.
Yeah, you'd see like some jock's girlfriend holding their coat while while the
Well,
guy went
I mean,
into
dude,
fucking
you knew me in the '90s, man. I
yeah.
wasn't into that stuff.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we talk about movies on this podcast too.
Before we get going too far down another tangent, let's shout out the rest of the chaps
Yeah.
here, the lads. So, kicking things off every other Monday, we got Brandon Legion's Horror Wolf 666. Up next on Tuesday, Jackie Smith brings you the greatest extreme music podcast in the land, Into the Necrosphere. Uh, on Wednesday, we've got Everything Went Black, which I just recently had Richard Stanley on as a guest, which was awesome. We also have Iblis Manifestations brought to you by Cheyenne of the great band Trivax. Thursday is Necro Thursday. You listen to the Necromaniacs podcast right now, as well as Day One of Soul Knox, brought to you by Carl Hikera. Friday, we've got Spitball Media, which is an irreverent pop culture podcast. Saturday is a day off, but Carl returns on Sunday with Day Two of Soul Knox. And Carl and I are continuing our Darkness Weaves collaboration. So definitely check all that stuff out. We don't have any phone calls this week, which is sort of on brand for you, Jeff.
Yeah, man. No one likes me.
Yeah.
I get
Um,
it. I get
but if you want to call us in, then please call and talk. Let's get some calls and addressing Jeff here. You know what I mean? So
it.
yeah, we've got 908-913-0782, 908-913-0782. That's the Necro number to leave a Necro voicemail.
Yes, yes. Yeah, we love your recommendations and just, we love that stuff, hearing what you have to say, what you think, what could be better, movies we should watch and cover. We've gotten a lot of good ideas from people calling in.
Absolutely, man. Like you know, even if we don't necessarily do it on the show, which we should
Mhm.
probably do more of those, but like I
Yeah,
try to go and watch a lot of these films. But yeah, it's great to hear from everybody.
yeah, 100%.
I don't know where I'm being taken. I don't know what I'll find beyond the earth and sky. But I'm not afraid to go. Maybe the things I don't understand will be clearer there. Like when a fog blows away. Maybe Doris will be there. And maybe there I can tell her all those things they don't have words for here.
So that brings us to this week's feature film. This is we're doing a Neo Noir Maniacs movie this week. So we've got The Man Who Wasn't There, directed by Joel Coen, written by Joel Coen and Ethan Coen, also known as the Coen brothers.
Yes.
So this is like our first Coen brothers film that we've done.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, this movie came out May 13th, 2001 at the Cannes Film Festival, and then November 2nd, 2001 in the US. It's 116 minutes long. Um, really, really great cast in here.
Oh,
We've got
yeah.
Billy Bob Thornton, which everyone knows as Ed Crane. We've got the great Frances McDormand, who's been in several Coen Brothers films as Doris Crane, his wife. We've got Michael Badalucci as Frank Raffo, and that's isn't that Doris's brother?
Yes.
Yeah. The sublime Richard Jenkins as Walter Abundis, and Richard Jenkins is probably in one of my favorite television shows, 6 Feet Under.
Yes. Yeah. And he's great in this.
Yeah. A young Scarlett Johansson as Rachel Birdie Abundis, which is Walter's daughter, the piano playing daughter of Walter. Let's see who else. James Gandolfini, Tony Soprano
Hmm.
as Big Dave Brewster. Catherine Borowitz as and Nerdinger Brewster, and it's important. Nerdingers, which is
Yes.
the department store that Big Dave runs, and that's Big Dave's wife. And yeah, there's like some other people in here too, but those are the main ones, I think. Oh wait,
Yeah.
Joe Polito as Crichton Tolliver. That's like another key character here. Oh shit, how could I forget? Tony Shalhoub as Freddie Reidenschlag, Reidenschneider, Reidenschneider,
Wittgenstein. Yeah,
Reidenschneider.
mine's all misspelled.
Yeah, he's been in a ton of things, and he's great in this, by the way.
There are no bad performances in this. There are a lot of characters, but no small parts, it seems.
Yeah,
Everyone is so good in this. Even God, there's an actor in there. He's in one scene. His character doesn't even have a name. It's like Man at Party. And he's great in it. It's the actor. He was in Bliss. He was in ER. He was in the great show Parker Lewis Can't Lose. He's just a guy who's talking to Ed Crane at the party. That's his only scene, and he's great.
yeah, this is like definitely has all the trappings of a noir film. It's black and white, you know.
Mhm.
There's a meandering monologue that kind of breaks everything down. It opens up with a monologue. There's like some, deceptions that go on, but it's also sort of an absurdist movie too.
Oh yeah, I think that's what gives the Coen brothers their that feel. It's this dark, serious subject matter, but it's looked at through a lens of it's sort of comedic.
Yeah, and a comedic in like this absurdist sort of way, where it's like the situations themselves resolve in these like very sort of fantastical ways.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And I think this is one of the last films to have that sort of Coen brothers feel of their earlier work. Like it got yeah, they did some films after that that went a little bit too far in the comedic realm, and then they got No Country for Old Men, which is pretty serious.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Great movie. I don't think the Coen brothers have really made a bad movie, but this
No.
seems to be like the last of that era of their style of filmmaking. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
This is probably one of my favorite films by them, actually.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
100%. I came to that conclusion finishing up last night that while I'd seen this before, I really didn't remember much about it at all. So it was almost like seeing it for the first time.
Pretty much same boat, man. I haven't seen this in a good 10 years probably. Now I don't have the Criterion, which actually just came out.
I paid. That's how I watched this.
Yeah, yeah. But I think I watched the Criterion cut though. That's out. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I have to agree with you that this is probably in my top five Coen Brothers films. Are you a Coen Brothers fan then? I
Yeah,
would
no,
assume you are. Yeah.
dude, I'm an old school fan of theirs, man. I like a lot of their movies, for sure.
Yeah, I've been a fan most of my life. I really like their unique view of everything. Like even their gangster movie, Miller's Crossing, is unlike any other gangster movie you've ever seen. Their comedies just go a little bit further, like you said, into the absurd without ever becoming slapsticky or annoying. I just think their sensibilities are spot on. They were born to make films.
Yeah, Barton Fink, one of my favorites. Fargo, of course, The Big Lebowski, like all those movies are just I can go on and on and on about like all how awesome they are.
Yeah, it's like I go back and watch their films from when I was younger and I see them now and I appreciate them even more. Like they notice things about them I wouldn't necessarily notice as a younger person. A lot of layer to their to what they do. I think it's unfortunate they don't seem to be making films together anymore.
Yeah, we can only hope that they'll reunite at some point on another project.
Yeah, I'd never seen Joel's solo. I believe he did a Hamlet movie.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Yeah, with Denzel Washington, who's always great. I'll get to it eventually, but yeah, this era of the Coens, man, it was just one after another. It's great film, and this is sort of their tackling the well. It's not, I wouldn't say it's their first time doing noir. I think their very first film, Blood Simple, is very much in that genre.
Yeah, Blood Simple, I would say Blood Simple is even more in the vein of the neo noir because it takes place in like the modern, relatively modern world, modern setting. You know,
Right. Yeah. True.
this is like a noir, like a neo noir, but it takes place within that time frame of a lot of those like movies that define that genre. You know what I mean?
Yes, I believe this takes place in 1949.
Yeah, it's post World War II, Santa Rosa, California. And of course, we get the nice black and white, filmmaking here and
Oh yeah, Roger
cinematography.
Deakins.
Yeah.
Yep. Does this movie work in color? I wanted
No,
to ask you that.
I only want to see this in black and white, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I was watching some behind the scenes stuff about it, and they showed some footage that the in color, and it just doesn't work as good. It just doesn't.
Yeah. No, it's just this needs to be in black and white.
I
So
I love black and white. Not everything works, but some things just feel like they were made to be black and white, and this is one of them.
well, The Mist,
Yeah,
with Stephen King, like I love it in color, but it's even better in black and white.
it is a much better movie in black and white. I know Frank Darabont wanted it to be released in black and white, but couldn't get his way on that.
Yeah. So we open up with Ed Crane. He's a quiet barber, working with his brother-in-law Frank at his barber shop. Frank owns the barber shop and is first chair, and Ed is second chair.
Yes.
Yeah. His wife Doris, um, she's a bookkeeper, and they subtly display that she's an alcoholic, basically.
Yeah, yeah, they do. Yeah, and like you're right, it is subtle at first. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and there's like their marriage has just hit that stride of like normalcy where
Yeah.
nothing is really exciting. Everything's very routine. Ed looks bored as hell with his life. Um, they they don't there aren't real they're not at each other's throats, but they're also
Mm,
not necessarily getting along so well.
right. And the movie doesn't go deep into their relationship. It really doesn't even go deep into who Ed Crane is. Like, who is this guy? You don't really know. Like, you can imagine what life was like before this, but you don't really know.
That's a good point, actually. I mean, it kind of like if I was reading this in a novel or short story or novella or something like that, that would be important to me.
Right.
But in the film, in the context of this film, like you kind of just to keep everything lean and mean, and this already is like a longer film,
Mm,
it keeps everything lean, and you just know basically just the key elements of each character.
right. He's kind of this average Joe, which is also sort of interesting in the film noir genre. You usually have these guys that do something a little bit more, not necessarily glamorous, but a little like cooler.
Yeah, no, you're
And
right. Yeah,
this guy's not like anyone important. He's just a second chair barber.
yeah, he doesn't even own the barber shop.
No, he doesn't own the barber shop. He doesn't seem to have much of a personality or, I mean, this performance is a definition of stoic.
Yeah. And Santa Rosa is like a suburb, right? Like that's not very urban, right? In California.
Yeah, I remember when he said down in Sacramento, I was like, oh, they're above Sacramento. Where are they? Like it's not even set somewhere like Los Angeles or San
Yeah.
Francisco, or even Sacramento.
Well, Sacramento is like a real nowhere town. I'm sorry for
oh,
anyone from Sacramento that's listening to this.
have you ever played Sacramento?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
totally, dude.
weird.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, we
It's
played Sacramento in many bands. I played Sacramento in different bands.
yeah, I played there with one band 2 or 3 times, and it's weird. You're not too far from SF, but it's a totally different vibe.
Yeah, even the drive up from LA is not too bad to Sacramento in West Coast reckoning. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Although if you're doing the drive from Seattle or Portland down to LA, Sacramento is right around where it starts to get like kind of like depressing and ugly.
Yeah, that sort of like was is that the San Joaquin Valley? Is that what that's called, that area?
I'm not sure.
But it's the desert part of California.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, where they grow oranges and lemons and things like that.
Right. So yeah, it's basically like kind of the setting is not that important, although it comes up quite a bit in this.
So one day at the very, very end of their shift, this guy rolls up, this guy Crichton Tolliver.
This guy.
Yeah, that guy rules. And
Yeah.
so it's like closing time, you know? And the guy shows up like in the final minutes and he's like, I want a haircut. I'm like, well, we're closed. And Frank is like, kind of offended by this dude's lack of respect for their hours. But Ed is like, you know what, I'll take it. Frank tells Frank to go home. So he gives this guy a haircut. And he's talking about how he's an entrepreneur and he's trying to get this new business off the ground called dry cleaning, revolutionary business, you know.
Yeah, and it almost feels like, well, first of all, even saying that like they were closed, but he gets a haircut anyway, it gives the whole scene a feeling of fate. Like
Yeah.
this was meant to happen. This had to happen. And he's getting a haircut, and he clearly has a wig that he thinks is impressive, uh, which it looks comically bad to me.
Yeah, it's
It
that
has
horrible wig. Yeah.
it has to be intentional. And he has this insane harebrained scheme about dry cleaning. Well, what seemed harebrained at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny when he takes off his rug, he's got like the most wispiest of hair left, and the whole haircut thing takes like, like minutes to do.
Yeah, so it almost feels like a setup that he specifically chose this guy.
Well, all right, yeah, that's interesting because we as a story develops more, we could definitely go back to that because
Yeah.
I feel like Ed was targeted by this guy.
Yeah, it definitely feels that way. And then the movie is like philosophical, like questions your existence. Like it feels very much important and not like yeah, it feel like it had to this had to happen.
Yeah. So at first Ed kind of like he thinks about this. He doesn't immediately respond to this thing. This guy's looking for like, to invest $10,000, which back then was a lot of money.
Yeah, how much would that be today? That
Oh,
seems like a significant amount of money.
yeah, I think I got 10 grand in my wallet right now. So.
I definitely do not.
No. But back then, that was like, a pretty significant amount of cash back in, 1949. So it's a lot of money he's asking for.
Yeah.
Uh, Around this time, this is when we get introduced to Big Dave Brewster,
Oh, yes.
which is Doris's boss, and of course the great James Gandolfini. They show up at the house for dinner, and Dave is like, a man's man, like regaling them with stories of his exploits in World War II, which is also comes up again.
Oh, yes, it does.
And we see like Ed is on the sidelines more, and you can see that there's something going on between Dave and Doris, and Ed through a monologue, it's just saying how it's like, he always figured Doris went in for these kind of like He-Man style guys, and he suspected that he was pretty much sure that convinced that Doris was having an affair with Big Ed, Big Dave,
Right.
Big Dave, sorry.
So it sets up Ed as being extremely observant
Yeah,
because there's no big clue that they're sleeping together. Like watching the scene, I didn't get that until he says it.
yeah, yeah,
And
definitely.
we should talk about James Gandolfini's performance and especially like this scene. Immediately you think of obviously Tony Soprano. He's even doing like the voice.
He
But
is, yeah.
I think it's a very different performance.
It is. It's subtle, man. Really so disappointing that James Gandolfini is no longer with us.
Oh God, I know, man. It's crushing. He was one of the greats. Great actor, not just like as a gangster, like just in general, great actor.
Yeah. Yeah, even, like this he's been in other, I mean, I've seen him in many films prior to being Tony Soprano. But yeah, he's doing that the Tony Soprano like alpha guy, but also there's a shade to it that's a little bit different because he's not actually the self-made man that Tony Soprano is.
Exactly. Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, he's got to play it as someone who's confident, but not who he appears to be.
yeah. And also his wife's family, the Nerdingers, are the ones who own the business that he's running, where he's making all of his mark with as an industrialist here, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And the not only is his performance in this scene great, the performance of everyone at that dinner table is great. Like it really sets up how these people all feel about each other. Ed is very stoic and unimpressed. Doris is laughing a little bit too hard, and his wife just looks horrified.
Yeah.
And I thought there was a nice little like a visual clue where it shows him Gandolfini washing dishes, and he's wearing this very feminine sort of like apron.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a nice touch. It was like that means something.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
So Dave is talking about how he's going to open up an annex to the store, business here, and he offers like, Doris the job as like, is sort of a little bit of a, like a step up in her role there, as
yeah,
bookkeeper, but also maybe a little bit more of like an assistant kind of vibe, that sort of thing.
right.
Yeah, like it's definitely a promotion from what she's been doing. And this is around the time where I guess a light bulb goes off in Ed's brain about, hmm, how can I get my $10,000?
Yeah, yeah, and you wonder, like, since you don't really know anything about Ed, what possessed him to go through with this? Did he feel insulted by Big Dave? Was he really that upset about his wife sleeping around? I mean, this guy doesn't really seem to get emotional about anything. So what drove him to do this?
That's a great question, and it also speaks to like this is the only thing that really gives you an insight into what Ed's character is. Is the fact that he's willing to, he all right. So his idea is he wrote a letter. He writes a letter to Dave saying that I know about your affair with Doris. I'll keep it quiet if you give me $10,000. Right.
Right. Yeah. And he goes to this dry cleaning guy in another, like, this is just one great scene after another. The scene in the hotel room between Ed and God, what's the guy's name? The dry cleaning guy?
Crichton
Crichton.
Tolliver. Yeah, Crichton Tolliver, which is like probably a fake name too, obviously.
Yeah. This scene is so great. I mean, he doesn't recognize Ed, even though he cut his hair.
Yeah.
And when Ed does say he's got the money, he throws his wig back on.
Yeah.
It's just, and he's sweating profusely and doesn't seem to have it together. It really sets up that this guy is shady as fuck, but Ed goes through with it anyway. Again, why? Ed does not strike me as stupid.
Exactly. Like that's the really interesting part of this film is that we've noted that Ed is observant. He figured out that his wife and Dave are having an affair, right? Yet he walks right into this obvious scam with Tolliver.
Right. I mean, is it? I mean, it's never
And,
confirmed that
but
it's a scam.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say though, too.
Yeah.
It's like that's a debatable point. And it's also as debatable as whether or not Crichton Tolliver is his name, his actual real name, too.
Yeah. We never really know.
Because they do sign paperwork, which haunts him later on in the story, right?
An
Because
ironic twist. Yes.
yeah, and Tolliver's like, well, Ed says to him, "You're not going to screw me on this, right?" And then Tolliver like gets offended by that, and he's like, "Go ahead, take it to a lawyer."
I insist. Yeah.
I insist you take it to this lawyer, right? So if he's insisting that this signed document is real and his name isn't Tolliver, it's like he's kind of, you know what I'm trying to say? Like if that
Oh
is not
yeah.
actually his name, I mean, and I just thought about that after watching the movie too. I'm like, they don't really determine whether or not this deal that he had is legit because you could, entrepreneurial types can come off as sleazy, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like maybe he was actually going to open up a dry cleaner.
Yeah, I mean, also a lot of signs point to no, but we never really know. I mean, even when he says, I insist, take it to a lawyer, a lot of people who are bullshitters will use that as some sort of proof of authenticity,
Exactly. Yeah.
so, and again, like the performance comes alive. I mean, this guy nails it and brings it, like, gives so many different levels. Even like the wink he gives him, like
Oh yeah.
these little things about the performance just elevates it.
Right. And then of course Tolliver's gay. So he makes this pass at Ed, and Ed even notes that. He's like, was that you, are you making a pass at me? And he's like, you're way out of line with that, right?
You're out of line, Mister.
You're out of line, mister. Yeah.
um, again, like Ed, clearly, like nothing gets a rise out of him. Even something like that, he handles very stoically, and it goes right back to okay, not a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, again, interesting, and it just doesn't seem like something Ed would go for. Like bringing in again, like, is this fate? Was this meant to happen? Is this all out of Ed's hands?
And sometimes people who are like incredibly bored with their lives, like something, they just want something different to happen sometimes, you
Oh,
know?
totally.
Like people fall into all sorts of problems. Like if you think about this reality that he's living in, where it's like every day is exactly the same, and like he's in this relationship where he's being like cheated on by his wife by this guy, Dave Brewster, and it's like he just wants something different, man, to change some like change the be forced so that he can just get out of whatever this drudgery that he's living through is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very relatable too that I think everyone has had a moment where something is a bad idea,
Oh yeah.
but you're twisting it around in your head to make it a good idea.
You're justifying it, and that's exactly what he did. Like we said before, Crane is a smart guy, is observant, yet he justifies this whole thing because he is living in this unbearable life, I think.
Right. He just wants something, anything, like you said. And yeah, so that sets this all into motion. And there's a really when they have that sort of party at the Nerdlinger uh, department store. There's a great scene between James Gandolfini and Billy Bob Thornton, which again shows a little bit more depth to this performance that James Gandolfini is giving. Is like this isn't Tony Soprano. This is something else.
Yeah, he's a different guy, like a little bit more vulnerable than Tony Soprano.
Yeah, there's a great moment where he's explaining what's happening to him. He's telling the guy whose wife he's sleeping with what's happening, but he's like, "Oh, you don't know these people. You don't know this girl."
Yeah,
But
yeah,
then he says, I'm sorry. You get a sense that he is saying he's sorry for what he's done to Ed. Like there's genuine remorse there.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And yeah, it's so interesting. And he basically tells him that someone tries to, is trying to, he got this note, letter. They're looking to get money out of him, to blackmail him, basically.
Yeah. And this is such a noir type of thing, a simple plan or a seemingly simple plan that just goes horribly wrong.
And this is a story that the Coen brothers have told before, like with the simple plan going wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, so um at this point, he separates from him, and then there's a moment where Ed finds out that it actually is um Crane who wrote the letter because he talks about how there was this Tolliver guy, which he refers to him as a homosexual slur,
Yes.
which we,
Yeah.
we won't say here.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, it's $10,000. I know that like, he first came to me trying to, extort the money out of me, then he beat the guy up and he gave it up that it was actually Ed that, I'm sorry, Crane that did this. And so he's on to the whole plot.
Right. Which again, what are the chances that Ed gives this guy 10 grand, but he also asked his he also asked Big Dave first. What are the chances? Fate
Well,
again.
and also like, but there's also like we talked about how we thought that maybe Crane was targeted by Tolliver,
Right. Yeah.
right? So he first, obviously probably went to Big Ed for or Big Dave first, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, I'm going to blow the whistle on you, let you give me $10,000, assuming that, he's the guy. He might have thought that, well, this guy owns this department store. He's got like 10, what's 10 grand to this guy? You know what I mean?
Right.
And then when he said no, I'm sure that he discovered, oh, this guy's cheating on his wife with this broad that's like going out with, she's married to the barber. All right, so who do I go to next? The barber.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. So he hits up the barber. And hence the targeting of Crane.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel like, he showed up at the end of the day, like he wanted to get Crane to give him a haircut and kind of lay this whole thing out for him.
Yeah. Kind of if that was his plan, well executed.
Yeah. So he's looking for the 10 grand,
Yeah. Um, so yeah, this Big Ed tries to basically he's trying to kill Ed, like beat him to death.
Yeah. Well,
And
also what's interesting too is we find out that the 10 grand will destroy his whole plan of making the annex too.
right, yeah, exactly.
Like that'll ruin him apparently. Like the 10 grand is a big amount of money for him because he reminds him, he's like, well, it's not this isn't my business. It's my wife's family's business.
Yeah, again, showing that Dave is sort of a fraud. That
Yeah.
everything he has isn't really his.
The
This
whole thing's a
big,
facade. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I don't think Ed really even thought about how this would like how his wife would be caught up in this,
No, he didn't
which
consider that.
yeah, I kind of overlooked that. So I also like that he stabs him with a letter opener, and they established that knife in a scene earlier that we were just talking about when they're having cigars.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. And James Gandolfini is using the same, when they're scuffling, the same, like his exertion is being expressed the same way that he's exerting himself lifting weights in The Sopranos.
Yeah,
He's like, he's like, "Ugh."
yeah,
It's like the same sound. It's so funny.
that's
Ugh.
right. That's right. Yeah, there's a scene where uh, he's choking Billy
Crane.
Bob Thornton.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I saw Tony Soprano in that moment.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then Crane stabs him in the neck and in effect kills Big Dave there.
Yeah, and again, like don't get much of a rise out of Ed. He just killed someone and he remains stoic and calm. I really feel like a lot of like film noirs or films like this really revolve around the anxiety of a character getting caught, and this doesn't have that.
He's even throughout this whole thing,
Yeah.
you know. So they start investigating this whole thing, and then one day at his job, these two cops show up, and yeah, they're just like Crane, and he's like, "That's me." And they take him outside. He's like, we just picked up your wife for murder.
Yeah, and again, he's probably thinking they're on to me, but not a hint of worry, really.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe before he got married, he was a criminal or something. Maybe he was one of these like but we'll never know. So
Yeah, we don't really, yeah, exactly. And these two cops are like, this is almost out of a David Lynch film.
they are very Lynch-like. Yeah,
Yeah, it's very funny. Um, I loved it, but so this is how we get Tony Shalhoub's character involved, and as the hotshot lawyer. I love this character. I think Tony Shalhoub does an incredible job.
one of the
He
things
is
that we left out though too is Birdie, like the sort of subplot with Birdie and Crane right now.
yes, because he gets introduced to her like through she is the daughter of Richard Jenkins.
Yeah, Richard Jenkins' daughter. And
And they're friends or something. Like I kind of missed
it's
like the
right away, it's
relationship.
creepy because she's like a high school kid, this high school girl, and she's yeah, she's one of the neighbors basically. And
Yeah.
she plays piano, and Ed Crane looks at her as like this kind of like pure, untouched, all pure, untouched potential.
Yeah.
She hasn't been jaded by the world. She isn't evil. Like she's not underhanded in any way, or so he thinks. Like she's not jaded or anything or pure. Um, so he takes I'm going to say it right now, a very unhealthy interest in her.
Yes, but it is never really explicitly said he has like a sexual attraction to her, does it?
No, no, but it's creepy.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah, because there's a scene where she has a recital,
Hmm.
right? And and he attends this piano recital, and afterwards she's talking with this young man who's age appropriate, like this young guy,
Yeah.
and you see, okay, well, she's not a child, like she's like feeling like she's like in that age group of like interest in boys, right?
Yeah.
Because like they show her very childlike earlier, right? But then you start seeing through a different lens that, oh, well, she's like wants to date boys and have romantic relationships and stuff. So creepily, Ed just like kind of like slithers up to her and it's like, hey,
That's
how you doing? How are you? You did a great job. And like kind of ignores like the boy that she's with,
yeah,
try to like,
it's an awkward scene. The boy seems clearly bothered by Ed.
yeah, he's like asserting himself over this child, basically. You know what I mean? And it's just like,
I think in that moment too, his idea of her is shattered.
yeah, yeah, exactly. He looked at her as like this perfect, pure thing that,
Yeah.
is like beyond all this stuff. Probably in reaction to his wife who's cheating and is an alcoholic and, all this stuff. Is it nice to him or anything like that?
Right. Honestly, I had a hard time figuring out how this whole subplot fit into the movie. Like it might feel like unnecessary, but
With
the
Birdie?
movie, yeah, the movie would be missing something without this.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah.
So yeah, like that sets that up. Yeah. And through Richard Jenkins' character, that's how in a great performance of him drunk on his porch. Probably my favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah.
They
He recommends Freddie Reed and Schneider.
Yeah, and Tony Shalhoub, man, like it's almost almost over the top, but it's not quite there.
Yes. He comes so close to the line, but
Yeah,
masterfully avoids that line.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
he's this hotshot lawyer from San Francisco, you know, very expensive, you know, but they're saying, well, to defend Doris, we're gonna, not we're gonna spare no expense. So he comes down. Um,
He loves what he does, but doesn't seem to have any regard for the people who hire him. Like
yeah,
he's staying in an expensive hotel, he's eating constantly. He just wants to. He doesn't really care about them. He just wants to win, or he
yeah,
just
just
wants
for
to.
himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's all ego driven. And let's mention now that the barbershop, which has been in their family for what, a couple of generations, it seems, and has already paid off. It's they out and out own the business, the
Yeah.
building. They have to mortgage the barbershop to pay for the attorney.
Yes.
Yeah. So everything's on the line. But then Reed Schneider indicates to Crane that, oh yeah, by the way, in addition to my retainer, you're gonna cover all my expenses, all my meals, like
Yeah.
as he's like gorging himself on like probably half of the stuff he's probably not even gonna eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And he knows like, oh, yep, don't forget the flapjacks.
Yeah,
He's
that's right.
yeah. Um really great. And I love the scene between he like basically Ed Crane confesses to the Friedenschneider or whatever what he did.
Yeah,
And he doesn't even see it as the truth. He sees it as an angle to that maybe they can play, but like he goes with no, that doesn't work.
yeah. It's like he doesn't even care about the truth. He just cares about making the jury putting doubt in their mind. That's all he cares about.
Right. Yeah. He doesn't care who did it, if she did it, doesn't care.
Yeah, he's like, did anyone see you? He's like, no. Does anyone know? He's like, no. He's like, well, we can't use it then. It's like so fucked up.
Yeah. And ultimately, when and Doris takes her own life in prison, his disappointment is that he didn't get to do his thing. He didn't get to battle it out in court.
Yeah. Like
That's all he cares about.
no compassion at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so fucking great. Tony Shalhoub deserved an Oscar for this. I think actually everyone in this movie is like giving like an Oscar uh, caliber performance.
Yeah. So, his Doris takes her own life, which comes as a shock maybe the first time around because I guess you're gearing up for this like long protracted, and actually, in the begin you were looking forward to this like sort of like court scene, but you never get it. It's like
Yeah,
completely like anticlimactic.
it is. This movie, like, while it's obviously like loves the genre and is very stylic, it does avoid some of like the typical film noir things. Like at this point in the movie goes in a very different direction for a little while.
Yeah.
I mean, this is when they kind of focus more on Birdie and his sort of relationship to that, and a UFO kind of comes into play too.
Oh, well, actually, yeah, so that scene was really cool when Big Ed's wife shows up at the front door.
Yes, yeah.
Um,
It seems like a scene you're like, well, why is this here? It could be cut, but ultimately, I feel it is very important.
yeah. So Anne shows up one night at Crane's house, like they live in the same neighborhood, and she looked awesome, by the way. Like she's got this veil on, it's like black and white, and
Yeah,
she's like probably medicated or something like that.
yeah,
And she's talking about how her and Ed went camping and they saw a UFO. And it was
yes,
like that was like that scene is like one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
yeah. No, it's great. Yeah, it looks beautiful too. Yeah,
Yeah, she's like all in black, because Ed's, she's mourning, grieving and stuff like that with the veil, and she's like explaining this whole story, but she's like very, very like off, off kilter when she's telling the story.
yeah. And this sets up the sort of UFO. I mean, it's it's such a strange thing. It seems to come from out of nowhere, but then it keeps coming out throughout the remainder of the film.
Yeah. Um, so Crane and his unhealthy interest with Birdie, he believes that she has, a future in music. So he convinces her. Just she actually won her father's away, which is another real red flag.
Yeah, yeah.
He just shows up at the house. He goes into her bedroom, and and she's like laying on her bed, and he's trying to convince her that I believe in your talents, and there's a guy in San Francisco. We got to take you up there. He's the best, they say, and I'll help you with your career. It's just so creepy.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, though, we don't know if like that his is purely sexual or if he's really trying. I mean, it's the sexual thing. It's probably there. I'm not even sure Ed understands it though.
Yeah, totally. And so he takes her up to this guy in San Francisco, and he's like, "Oh, well, you stay out here, and we'll take her in. We'll run her through well, I'll check her out. I'll see what if there's anything there, right?" So she runs through her whole audition with this dude, this French guy, and and then when he comes out, he asks Crane to come into his study there to tell him what he thinks, and he's just like, "Yeah, she played all the right notes. She plays like a nice girl, but I don't see anything there. I don't see a future. There's no passion. She did everything the right way, but there isn't any kind of, you know, real substance to what she's doing, you know?
Which it's kind of a way to describe Billy Bob Thornton's character in this movie. Like
Yeah,
he's just
pretty
sort of
much.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it crushes his whole dreams of like, being involved in Birdie's life, or
Yeah.
whatever the hell is like his motives are. So they're on their way back from San Francisco, and they're sitting in the car driving, and this is kind of where you actually see more of who Birdie is, like her character. She's like, I don't even really like playing piano, basically.
Yeah.
She's like, I do it, but I don't want to do it professionally. It's like I don't even know if I want a career. If I were to choose anything, maybe I'd be a veterinarian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then she comes on to him,
And she comes on to him. Yeah.
but he rejects it.
And he rejects it. Yeah. And then, and then they get into a car accident, which you suspect may have been fatal, but it's not, and it's a pretty cool scene.
Yeah, he has like a memory while he's knocked out about his wife dealing with a salesman.
Yeah. Which is that quite interesting, actually, that it's a salesman, and trying to, I don't know, it's just the whole thing was like this vision he had while he was like unconscious.
Yeah, it makes sense because a salesman got him into this, and his wife basically got him into this predicament.
Yep.
So you don't know if it's sort of a flashback or a dream. It's not really clear. This is all like also the UFO motif is brought back again with the hubcap spinning that looks like a UFO.
Yeah.
But he awakes to see the two cops who told him that his wife got pinched, and he's under arrest
Yeah.
for. In an ironic twist, he gets arrested for the murder he did not commit. It turns out Big Dave killed the dry cleaner.
Yeah. And they find the signed contracts with his name on it in his in Tolliver's possession when they found the body. And so now there's this whole, they pinch him for the murder of Tolliver.
Yeah, which brings back the lawyer
Yeah, right. And
to
Schneider.
yeah, and
Yeah,
right when he's giving his passionate like defense, like his old partner comes and punches him in the face,
yeah,
kind of ruining it, making him look like a bad guy.
yeah.
And
Frank's like, "What kind of man are you?"
yeah,
Yeah, and they
which
they they get a mistrial.
yeah, what kind of a man are you? That comes up a few times in this movie.
Yep.
What kind of a
Actually,
man are you?
actually, Big Dave said that to Crane when he discovered that Crane was behind the blackmail.
Yes.
He's like, what kind of man are you, Ed? Like I could see if you came over to my house and punched me in the face, but to do something like this, it's like, what kind of
Right.
man are you? You know?
Right. Exactly. The movie has very strong philosophical like overtones, I think.
Well, there's that for sure. Like this the definition of character, of like, you know, Crane is a bad guy. Like he is a bad guy. Even though you want to be sympathetic to him, like bad things happen to him, but it's like, well, what part did he play in the sort of crumbling of their marriage too? Like,
Right, exactly. This is all through his point of view. You're hearing like his side of it. But yeah,
yeah,
but what are his flaws? What led to the downfall of their marriage? Yeah,
yeah. So,
exactly.
so you get like a little bit of the unreliable narrator thing with this film too, you know. But then, like when like all excellent usages of that sort of mechanism, at the end, you get more insights into where some of the inaccuracies of the way he's portraying things kind of come. Starting with Birdie. Birdie's not like, well, first of all, she's not as pure as Crane thought she was.
Right. Yeah.
And secondly, she's not this like child prodigy piano player.
Yeah. Exactly. Like she doesn't even really have that much of an interest in it, but he doesn't see that right away.
Yeah.
I mean, she even tries to tell him in an earlier scene, and it's like he doesn't listen.
No, he doesn't listen at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, what kind of man are you? Or Ed's the bad guy, really.
Right. So I gotta ask, what do you think the aliens mean? They're clearly, or the UFO, important to the movie. Um, but it's complex. Like watching, you might think like this is just a little too weird and out of a different movie. But again, I felt like the movie needs this.
I don't even know, man. I honestly thought about been thinking about that since watching this film, and I'm like, there has to be some connection with that, because like it comes up well in the scenes where now that you know Frank is in jail on death row, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, he comes back to like seeing like the UFO outside the prison,
I
you know.
I'll take a crack at it, I
All right,
guess.
go ahead, man. Go
I
for it.
guess it's trying to say, and I could be way out of line, like your life is out of your hands. This is
Okay.
all fate. Uh, it's like what's wrong is otherworldly. It's something else. It's not you.
I like that.
I mean, I'm still grasping at it and still trying to play it over in my head. And I specifically didn't watch anything about that. I didn't want to get someone else's take,
Yeah.
but that's sort of what I was getting is like characters looking at their life as something that is out of their control.
Yeah,
That's what I
that
took from
I
that.
I'm down with that. I think that's cool. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And so also during his incarceration segment, we see that this whole thing that he's doing is he's selling his story. Like he got the pulp magazines, like he's writing this for to be included in like a pulp magazine, like his whole story, up
Yeah.
into and even what it's like to be on death row is part of it too, which is kind of morbid, but it's
Right.
sort of
Yeah.
lurid details of being on death row.
He's getting 5 cents a word, but he's
Yeah.
also being put to death. So
Yeah, who matter? What does it matter?
again, stoically meets his fate.
Yep. Yeah.
And I love like it kind of shows a POV shot of him looking at the people watching his execution, and he's noticing their hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the tops. You see, like the tops of their from like their nose up. It's still all about hair to Ed.
Yep.
um,
Yeah.
I like that nice little touch.
And like that scene, the voiceover during his scene being led to the electric chair is like, part of, I don't know, man, that was real cool. It was just, it touched into that the philosophical element about not knowing, like, what actual, does any of this have any meaning at all? Like the life, like any of that
Right.
stuff, this kind of existential, like, atheistic viewpoint on things. It's really cool.
Yeah. No. Totally. Totally. Agree that while this is a very stylish movie, it clearly has more on its mind than just being visually appealing
Yeah. Yeah.
and paying homage to a genre. Like there's more going on.
Yeah, and he embraces like his freedom, from the mortal coil here, and he's like he seems relieved that his life's gonna be ending.
Yeah. Or he's definitely not, at least not scared. He even
Yeah.
says so. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it. The movie just sort of ends there. With that amazing piano score too. I gotta add the score to this was fantastic.
Yeah. No, it was great. Yeah.
Um yeah, and when it wrapped up, credits rolling, it gave me quite a bit to think about.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
definitely.
I loved this movie. I absolutely loved it. Like we mentioned earlier, I think this is a top five Coen brothers, maybe even top three
Yeah.
for me. They're all so good. It's hard to really, pick which one's my favorite. But this is definitely up there. And like I said, this is film noir with more going on than just paying homage. At the end, what do you give this?
I give this a 5 out of 5. Like I think in the beginning I kind of indicated that this is going to be highly rated for me because it's one of my favorite Coen Brothers movies.
Yes, same with me. 5 out of 5. Liked it the first time I saw it years and years ago, but loved it this time.
Yeah, the very first time I saw this movie, I just didn't have that much on my mind like I do now. You know what I mean? It's like over what, almost 20 something years ago this came out.
Yeah, like you when the older you get, you start to view things differently.
Yeah.
You pick up on things you wouldn't necessarily notice in as a younger man. Like the meaning of life, things like that. The older you get, the closer to death you are. These things weigh on your mind. What is there? What is this all about? What does it all mean? What kind of man are you?
Yeah. No, exactly, man. Great movie. It's on the Criterion channel now.
Yes.
But you can also rent it for like actually it's only like I think I bought this on iTunes for like 4 hours or something like that. It's not even
Yes.
expensive.
I bought the Criterion disc at a Barnes and Noble. I don't buy a lot of Blu-rays and things like that anymore, but Criterion is stuff is almost always worth a purchase. They put a lot of care into what they put out. I mean, this movie looks incredible. It's one of the best looking movies I've seen on my TV in a long time.
Yeah, it's great, you know, and I'm probably going to get the Criterion. It's like I used to have the Criterion channel, but like I just wasn't watching it enough to like
Yeah, yeah.
justify having it.
I got it to watch the Cronenberg film we covered, The
Yeah.
Shrouds.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
like one of the pricier streaming services, and I just couldn't justify it anymore, really.
yeah, I would have to agree. Great stuff, but like, yeah, it's a very specific mood you got to be in sometimes to watch
Yeah,
some of that stuff.
no, totally.
But yeah, this has been kind of fun to do a different type of movie, a neo noir. Like I said, there's a lot of cool directors we can talk about in this setting, since a lot of great directors have not made a horror movie,
Yeah, and these, yeah, the Coen brothers for sure.
and they are some of the greats. They don't make them like this anymore. They don't make filmmakers like the Coen brothers anymore.
No, totally. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this, and yeah, we're looking forward to getting into more of this stuff in the future.
Yep.
And someone leave a voicemail for Jeff, please.
All right, guys, take care. Have a good one.
All right, man.